Ajidara and you're welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so glad to have you. You're welcome. On this channel, we share truths in relatable ways, and today, let me start by sharing with you a well-kept secret of mine, that the only reason why I went to medical school was because my parents forced me to.
Talk back.
Okay, that's not true. I only wanted you to hear my mom and dad's voice. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I went to medical school because I wanted to. And today, you, my viewer, are going to benefit from my medical school education as well as my creative writing skills. But before we get to that, let me share this quote with you that I came across on social media from someone that I greatly respect. It goes like this: don't ever resent pressure. It can be uncomfortable, but it enables you to adjust to enter what grace has provided. We see the pressures of life as a struggle, but without them, life will really be a struggle. Through them, the struggles, we transit to the place prepared by God. Now, I'm sure you get the gist of this quote, right? But I want to try to animate this truth using the education my parents paid for. Now, you know the reason why I gave a shout out to them. Yeah, so the first time I witnessed a woman in labor was in my 4th year in medical school. Before then, the only impression I had of labor was from the movies I had seen, where the woman gets to the hospital, screams for about 5 minutes, and then the next thing we hear, right. For the first time I witnessed real life labor, I discovered that Nollywood lied. After this particular woman had been screaming for hours on end, she pushed for about 20 minutes before the baby made its grand appearance. Which brings me to my first point, that screens seldom accurately portray what goes on behind the scenes. Be it social media screens, television screens, movie screens, YouTube screens, they seldom accurately portray what goes on behind the scenes. So let's go behind the scenes of labor to see what actually happens. So to put it simply, the process of labor starts like this. This baby who has been enjoying this space in his mother's womb suddenly begins to feel a great deal of pressure around him from the contractions of his mother's womb. And as he tries to make a run for it and escape to a place free of pressure, he meets opposition in form of the rigid maternal pelvis made up of bones. Now, the baby is caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. But what does he do? He forges ahead in spite of the opposition, but adjusts his own position as he goes. And after a while, he breaks free and begins to cry for joy. He has successfully transitioned from his mother's womb to a bigger place on the outside, though he had to contend with pressure from around and opposition before him. Now, if this baby, who knows next to nothing about life, was able to successfully navigate a tight place to a broader place simply by adjusting its position in the face of pressure and opposition, then you and I ought to learn some lessons from this. That when we get into pressure situations, we need to continuously adjust our positions until such a time that we can transition from that place to a bigger and better place. Now, I can tell you that this video is as much for me as it is for you, because right now I'm in the middle of pressure situation and I've just shared with you the recipe I'm using to cope. In 3 months, I hope to be back to tell you how I got over. Hope you'll be here for that. But before then, always remember that transitions often occur against the backdrop of opposition. And all you need to do to overcome opposition is to correctly adjust your position. In other words, anytime you meet with opposition, what it simply means is adjust. Now, let me leave you with this good news, that just like uterine contractions, the pressures of life are always for a limited time. They stop when their work is done. In other words, tough times never last, but tough people like you and I definitely do. Now, so what are the 3 lessons you've learned from this baby who was just delivered a few seconds ago? Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay inspired.